Hi everyone, welcome back to Accessible BI. My name is Juliana and today I'm launching a brand new series here on this channel, PBIX A11y Bytes. Short, practical videos to help you make your Power BI reports more accessible and usable for everyone. And in this first episode, we're talking about color contrast and how we can make our reports more legible. When color contrast is too low, some users may struggle to perceive our visuals, especially those who may have low vision or perhaps viewing our reports from a very bright or very dim screen, or even anyone working in poor lighting conditions. And good contrast helps everyone. So rule of thumb is if you have a really light background, you're going to use darker colors on the top. So darker colors for your text, darker colors for icons and buttons, and also the colors that we use to build our visuals. And if you have a dark background, it's the opposite. You need to use lighter colors on the top of that. But this does not need to be a guess game. We can use the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, which is known for short as WCAG, which are international standards to help us design more accessible content. And WCAG has different levels of compliance, and we can actually stick to level AA, which addresses a wide range of accessibility needs, and it's also practical to implement. So these level AA establishes which color contrast ratio we should have in our digital content. And if you have body text, which is up to 17 points, or if in bold, up to 13 points, color contrast ratio should be your 4.5 to 1. If you have large text, which is above 18, or if in bold, above 14, the contrast ratio should be your 3 to 1. And we also need to watch the non-text contrast. So the color contrast ratio between our icons, buttons, and the color we build our visualizations also has to have a good contrast against the background. And according to this standard, it should be your 3 to 1. Now, if you're not sure where to start checking your color contrast, do not worry. I created a free tool, browser-based, that you can use to check your color contrast ratio, and I'm going to show you now how to use it. And just to have a guidance, I'm going to use the hex colors from this page that you can see here. So it is like a gray for all the text, and these light orange, yellow, and blue that are used to build the visualizations. So let me open now the tool. So this is PBIX A11y. There are different tools you can use for free. Today we're going to check the color contrast ratio. So the first test I'm going to run is on the text color, which is this hex code. This is the gray on the white background. And you can see here that the color contrast ratio, it's only enough if you have large text. And then additionally to that, we're going to also check, and if you don't know what is large text, if you scroll down, it tells you what is a regular text, what is large text, and what the non-text mean. And if you're open for suggestions, it also suggests colors that would meet the AA threshold for regular text. So you can apply this color, and you can see that it will pass. And all you have to do is copy the hex code across your report. Now let's check the color that was used on the bar chart. Was a very light orange-ish. So this is the hex code. And you can see here that the color contrast ratio is 1.35 to 1. And for non-text, that's what we want. It says here that it fails. It also provides, the tool also provides suggestion of hex code that will pass the contrast, and you can apply, you can copy the hex code or do whatever you need to do. Now, if I go back to my report, instead of having something like this, that is very, very pale, nothing stands out. It's not only for accessibility needs. Even if you want to highlight something that is important in your report, you need to add a bit more contrast. So we can move away from reports looking like this to like this. It's much easier to see and understand. That's it from me today. I really hope now you start checking your color contrast ratio. It's goodbye for me now, and see you on the next video.